Flat hunting had proved to be a thoroughly arduous task, on a par with training for a marathon or having a tooth, no, several teeth, extracted by an incompetent dentist. In fact, Jessie Campbell decided, either of those options would be preferable to viewing yet another flat that was riddled with damp, or falling in love with a room listed on Spare Room or Gumtree, only to realise it was 3 times over budget. Even the ones that she'd actually visited in person and liked seemed to end in disappointment. It was always the same. She replied to a flatmate wanted advert, make small talk in the kitchen with current tenants before judging whether or not all of her belongings could fit in the available room. So far, after a month of intensive searching, Jessie had made an offer on 4 different places and heard nothing back from any of them. Nothing. Despite politely following up twice. The rejection was worse than being vetoed after a job interview, given that it was based strictly on the 20 minutes of personality she'd been allowed to display, not her skill set or lack of experience, all the while trying to work out how much cupboard space she might get in the kitchen. Jessie had posted her own room wanted adverts too, to minimal response, and then spent an afternoon emailing all of the Brighton letting agents that came up on the first page of Google with a list of her requirements. A good-sized double bedroom in a friendly flatshare, £600, bills included. Happy to live with males or females, but no students, please. Within minutes, her phone had started buzzing non-stop with calls from unrecognised numbers. Did letting agents not sleep? And how did they keep managing to convince her to view so many rancid places? Jessie always felt as though she was snooping without permission when viewing a bedroom, still obviously in occupation, barely daring to do more than peer around from the threshold. One of the dives she had been shown by an agent on Upper Lewis Road had an actual gaping hole in the floor covered by a sticky Persian rug. Another, a basement flat near Preston Park Station, smelled of burnt rubber and was so cramped that when Jessie sat on the bed, she could touch the walls either side. Then there was the run-down townhouse by Hove Lawns, where a plump landlord resembling Henry VIII had given her a wink and said that he often crashed on the sofa whenever he had business in town. Truly repulsive. She'd seen plenty of properties with black mould scattered across the ceilings in hazarded constellations too, all of which made her ache for the flat she spent the past 3 years lovingly curating with a man she believed was her future. A flat that had once upon a time seemed so perfect. Ian, the balding letting agent from Happy Homes, or was it Moving On Up? They all started bleeding into one, seemed to be the nicest of the bunch, almost trustworthy if he weren't working on commission. His favoured lilac shirts were a little on the baggy side, and his shoes always meticulously shiny, reminding Jessie of a child on their first day of school. Endearing, really. The car he drove her around to viewings in was always pristine too, and smelled of freshly cut pine, thanks to a tree-shaped air freshener hanging from the rear-view mirror. It was a calm October afternoon, just after lunchtime when they pulled up outside 4 Maver Place. The flat was part of a large Edwardian house conversion, split over 3 floors, the top one of which was occupied by neighbours who let themselves in via another entrance down a small side alley. From what the current tenants have said, the neighbours pretty much keep to themselves, Ian told her. A bonus, if you ask me. It was a superb location, only a short walk from the seafront, and the rent was below the market rate for Brighton, a city growing notoriously more expensive with every passing year. Ian had reassured her that the 3 housemates already residing in the property, he always said property, never flat, were also young professionals in their 20s, just like her. 1 male and 2 females, he chuckled. The poor bloke. Jessie tried not to let herself get too excited. Looking up at the red brick building with its blue front door and sweet little balcony, but she couldn't help the fizzing in her stomach. Hope mixed with desperation. Something was telling her that this, the 23rd flat she'd seen, might just be the one.